Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update on Litecoin. Right now we're at $73.25. We're down 0.11%. And what we're going to do today, we're going to dig in. We're really going to look at the trends of Litecoin and what's going on. Because right now, guys, we haven't had a lot of price action here in the last 3 days or so. We've basically been hovering around that like $72 to $76. So not a ton happening right now. But that could be another sign that we're either going to have a move to the upside or the downside. And what we're going to get into today are some of my targets where I have some alarms, different things like that. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate all you guys being here with me. Channel's really been growing and I can't do it without you. So you guys just keep it up. Keep giving me those thumbs up if you like what we do here. Like, share, all that type of stuff. I appreciate you. So we'll dig into this. Guys, what we're looking at here, I want to start with the trends. And what we're going to identify first is this move since December 14th, 2018, around that time frame, this whole move here, this has been an intermediate term bullish uptrend. Okay, an intermediate term trend is typically between 3 and 6 months. And right now we're sitting here around that 4 or 5 month area, guys, right in that range. So we're definitely in that intermediate term bullish uptrend. And what we're trying to do is turn that into a longer term uptrend, a longer term bullish uptrend. And that's going to be over that 6 months. So we really want to make it past that 6 month range. Some technicians will even say around a year for a long term bullish uptrend. But I would probably fall somewhere between that 6 months and a year for it to really start. But that's what we're in overall, and that's including this correction that we've had, guys. This was just a correction, so our intermediate term trend is bullish. Our short term trend right here, this was bearish. So as you could see here, we're having lower highs and we're having lower lows taking place during this correction. Because guys, with trends, you have to look. There's micro trends and short-term trends, intermediate term trends, longer-term trends. So this would be our short-term downtrend or our correction. And then what we're trying to have right here, we're trying to start a whole new wave cycle, essentially. We had a trend line break out of here and we broke out of there. We basically had a 5% failure. And now what we're doing, we're coming back and we're back testing this trend line. And now what we're going to see is if we get a further move to the upside off this trend line here, or if we're going to break down through it. That's something that's very important here. So what we're looking to see, if this is our first wave, and then we've had that retracement, and then if we're going to have another wave up here, if that's going to take place. And that's how basically these trends work, guys. Higher highs and higher lows. So we're seeing if this is our higher low here, and we're going to continue a move to the upside, or if this is going to just continue to fall to the downside. And my downside support, I would look at $66.34. I would see if that holds. If not, I would look down here around that $61.42. And the reason why I say this right here, guys, and I'm going off the real bodies, and basically I love Japanese candlestick charting. I really study it a lot, and I agree more with even the Eastern techniques of charting than I do the Western techniques, but I love a combination of both. But with this here, guys, this is a bullish engulfing candle that took place, and then this is also our support off the real bodies. This is a very strong candle, a bullish engulfing candle. So that's why I'm saying this could be our first wave coming up here. This could be our correction. Then we'll see if we get that third push up, that impulse wave up, or if this is going to be more of a failure and we're going to fall back, because we did get that trend line break. We did break through that trend line, and you can see we had a decent candle on that trend line break as well. We just did not get follow shoot through. We basically ended up in a little bit of a rickshaw man here. If you see this candle right up here, guys, so it looks like basically a longer spinning top or a long leg doji candle, but actually it's pretty close to what they would call a rickshaw man. And you can see that move there. So we had that, we had our wicks there, our rejection. So think of the little rickshaw man as this body here, and then you have a lot of fight between the bulls and the bears there. Then we came back and we basically had almost a hammer candle. It has a little too much wick on top of it for me, but close to a hammer candle here off this trend line. We made another push up, and now we're just kind of floating in between here. You can see a very small candle there. And guys, what we're doing here, we're fighting with this 30 EMA, which is in yellow here, or orange, whatever you want to call it, and also this 50-day moving average here. We want to close back up above them. Yesterday we closed below them. Today we're fighting with them. So if we do lose those, I would definitely look down to this $66.34. Now, and that's where my target is, right, or my alarm is set at 72.53. So if we go below that, I will get an alert, so I'll know that we could potentially break back down through this trend line and potentially go a little bit lower, and I want to know about that. And then to the upside, what I have is $77. I want to be alerted, see if we get up above this real body here off this rickshaw man around $77 or so, because that means if we do get above there, then we have the potential to run to that maybe $82 or $83 range. That's what I'm looking at there. But the Japanese, they put a huge emphasis on the real bodies, not the span. Like in America, guys, what a lot of people will do is they'll really look at the high and the low for the day. The Japanese, they want to just really look at this real body. Yes, wicks are important or tails are important because that's going to show profit taking or down here when people are buying, so they don't negate those. But in terms of the support and resistance, they go specifically off the real bodies, and that's what I agree with as well, especially in the cryptocurrency space where we're so volatile going back and forth. I want to look at the real bodies. I want to see where it opened and I want to see where it closed. That's what I'm looking at there, guys. So now we're trying to start this little micro uptrend now. So we had this intermediate term bullish uptrend, then we had this short term downtrend here. Now we're trying to reverse that with that bullish engulfing candle, and we're trying to have this basically be our first wave. Then we'll come back down here, see if we get a bounce off this, guys, and then make a further wave up, an impulse wave up, or if we're just going to fail and start heading down. So that's what I'm looking at. We're really fighting with these moving averages here, guys. So that's our 30 EMA. The blues are 50 moving average. We want to close back up above those so we can come back up here and make an attempt at that. Let's see, $78 or so. All right, so we're looking at that, my friends. And also I wanted to look at the Fibonacci here, and then I'm going to get into some of the oscillators. But you can see this has been a beautiful uptrend overall. Very happy with it. I will be scared, guys, if we break down through this 200-day moving average, start having candle closes below that, or if we start closing below this lower trend line. That's when you would say, okay, guys, most likely we'd come down here, and I bet we'd try to test this $22 and see if we got a double bottom. But we're not anywhere near that right now. I'm just trying to show you that that's the importance of this. And also, this trend line here, this is only about a 10 or 12% angle. So this truly should be viewed as a concrete wall. It's not one of those real steep trend lines. This is a trend line that also would have a huge gap here. So if we were to come back down here and we saw strong volume off that, guys, that would be a great place to go long, or off this 200-day moving average, which we truly haven't back tested too much. We got through it here. We came back a little bit, guys, and then we just kind of blew through it. So at some point, you know, as this, even if price continues up, this 200-day moving average will continue to go, and I'm sure we'll back test it again at some point. That's just how these things happen. So be aware of that, and also be aware, guys, that that halving's coming up. So we don't know how all that's going to factor in and play into everything. So that's something that you got to keep in the back of your mind. You know, a lot of it's the buy the rumor, sell the news, and when it actually hits or whatnot, some guys will sell out, whatever. But I do not believe that this is the run-up to that. I don't think we've seen it yet. I think things will get much crazier as we get closer to that time frame of the halving, because you have to remember, guys, they're going to be putting out all the same mining power and everything and only getting half the reward, and there's only 84 million Litecoin. That's something that you really want to pay attention to. And that's what I was talking about in my last video, that truly think about it. 1 million people in the whole earth can hold 84 Litecoin out of over 7 billion people. So that's pretty significant, guys, and that's pretty scarce. And that's what I like. I like the things that are very scarce. So here, guys, what we're looking for is support off that 0.382. That'd be around $70 to the downside, so I'd want that to hold as well. And then to the upside, that'd be another thing to break, is around that 81.45. We try to get back up above that 0.236 right there. So that's what we're looking at. We're just floating in between this range there on the Fibonacci. Next, I want to go to the MACD, see how that's looking for us. And you guys let me know your thoughts. Do you believe that this move that we've already had from 22 to that 100 there, was that the move for the halving, or have we not seen anything yet? I want you to put it down low. And guys, on the MACD, what we're seeing here, the histogram is ticking to the positive. So do you see this, how we have been moving to the positive? But it looks like we're getting a little bit of a curl here, and sometimes, guys, you can stay in the negative here, and then you can start dropping back down a little bit, whatever. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that. We have the potential for us to tick positive, but we have not done that yet. And this MACD line here is basically kissing with this signal line. So we're just really in that neutral territory. We're moving sideways right now. We want to see what's going to take place. Next one, the RSI. And with the RSI, we have plenty of room to run to the upside, guys. We're only at 48, so we are not in that overbought territory right now. We're looking good there. And we had this nice little trend line break on the RSI as well. So we'll just draw a rough one here, guys. Right there. And you can see how these work. So here, take a look at this. Let me move it a little bit closer. I apologize. Something like this, guys. I'm sorry, my mouth's a little shaky. I just worked out and my arm's a little shaky right now. But we'll put it right there, and you can see when you get that nice little trend line break, that's when you move up, guys. Trend lines are so very important. Please, please watch some of my tutorials on trend lines. That's where the money's made. I mean, really, a break to the upside or downside, it can be 20% easily in a few days. So that's definitely something that you want to keep your eye out on. And then we'll do the stock RSI here. Take a look at this. So the stock up RSI is up a little higher here. We're at 63 and 69, so we could push higher, but typically, guys, we're pretty close to that overbought territory on the stock. So just pay attention to that as well. We did have that bearish cross, so we are heading to the downside, but sometimes you can head to the downside, then you can swoop back up. As you can see over here, we headed to the downside, got about middle way, came back up. So there's all different types of things that can happen, but we're trying to turn this into a short-term uptrend now, guys. That's what it's about. We're just looking at these trends, and I really want you to learn stuff about trend lines. I'm paying attention to them, and also trends and just following moving averages, all that different type of stuff. So if you like what we do here, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and my alarms are set at $77 and at $72.53. That's where I want to know to be alerted to see if we're breaking further to the downside or if we're going to be breaking to the upside and come up here and challenge maybe around that $83, $84 range. So pay attention to the volume, guys. Volume has been decreasing since this little move here, but that's typical. Even before you'll have a breakout to the upside, you'll see volume a lot of times start to lower, and then you can have that big breakout. Pay attention to that, and also pay attention. Do you see we had this stick here, and then we had about 2 months in between, then we had this stick, and now we're having a month or so in between? So start paying attention to that stuff, guys, and we're starting to have that increasing volume. So maybe the next one will even be a bigger stick of volume when it fully comes in. But that's what I'm looking at. Pay attention to both sides, guys. Can break either way. I'm not your crystal ball rubber man. I'm just here to show you upside, downside, and talk about these trends and what's going on. So take care, my friends. God bless you.